Let's talk about the new Rolex releases for 2025. First of all, we got a couple of new GMT Master 2 models. The two new models are essentially different takes on existing models. One of them is the Sprite, but now in white gold with the green ceramic dial. Everything else about this model stayed pretty much the same as the original from a couple of years ago. It still comes in the same case, 40mm diameter by about 12mm in case height. It is still powered by the same caliber movement, caliber 3285, that beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour, and it comes with 70 hours of power reserve. It also still features 100 meters of water resistance, although I don't know too many people that actually go swimming with their white gold watches. There's also the rose gold model of Rolex GMT Master 2 released, the root beer if you will, but now available with the unique dial. It's the Iron Tiger stone dial, which looks kind of interesting, although to be fair, it's not exactly my cup of tea. And again, just like with the Sprite model, it's just a different take on already existing model. And this one is even closer to the model that already existed, because of course there's already the rose gold root beer model of GMT Master, but now it's just available with this new stone dial. And in terms of the pricing, the Ever Rose Gold version with this fancy new dial costs 51,250 euro, and the white gold Sprite, if you will, costs 48,450 euro. There's also the new Rolex 1908 Perpetual in yellow gold on the new yellow gold bracelet. I think this model is kind of underrated. It's a pretty good dress watch that Rolex makes. It was introduced last year or a couple of years ago. From my understanding, it's not very popular, although this new version with the yellow gold bracelet looks pretty good. The bracelet is unlike any other bracelet that Rolex is doing. It almost looks like a version of a Jubilee bracelet with more links added. And I think overall the design of this watch with this bracelet kind of fits together. In terms of the dimensions, this one is about 36mm in diameter, 9.5mm in case height. It comes with 50 meters water resistance and is powered by the Rolex caliber 7140. It beats at 4 Hertz and it has 66 hours of power reserve. And this is a pretty expensive watch. It costs 33,400 Swiss francs. The new Rolex Land Dweller collection. So this is the first collection Rolex is introducing in quite some time. And the way this collection was introduced was a little puzzling. They almost took the marketing page out of Omega's book, because you could have spotted this watch on the wrist of Federer, I think a couple of days before the release, which is a similar tactic that Omega employs a lot of times. They accidentally have Daniel Craig wear the latest Seamaster or Speedmaster model somewhere before it was officially released. So Rolex did the same thing, which is quite funny. There was also some other leaks online. I haven't really been paying attention too much to this, but from my understanding, a lot of people already knew that this model was happening. I actually saw a few posts on social media about this model, and I actually thought it was fake, because it kind of looks like an AI generated version. If you put a prompt of something like, give me an integrated bracelet Rolex Datejust, the AI would probably give you something like this. All cards on the table. I don't really hate this model all that much. I don't love it either. I'm just kind of okay with it. It looks fine, but it's not for me. And reading at the social media comments and the response to this model so far, seems like a lot of other people are in the same boat. The response seems to be lukewarm to negative on this model, primarily because of its design. It does look a little strange. As I said, it kind of looks like an AI generated integrated bracelet Datejust. It also looks quite a bit like the Oyster Quartz from 1970s. And it also kind of reminds you of the Tissot PRX and the Tudor Royal, which wasn't a very popular model for Tudor from my understanding. It's pretty popular in Asia, but not so much in North America and Europe. And I'm guessing maybe Rolex is targeting more of the Asian markets with this specific design. In terms of the specific elements of this design, my biggest gripe with it is a very small one, but to me personally, it just drives me crazy. I really dislike how Rolex and all their writing is sort of raised on a platform above this honeycomb texture on the dial. I really think that looks odd, and it's a mistake in terms of the design of this watch. I wish they kind of integrated the text into the dial itself. I know it's a very small nitpick, but honestly, that's my biggest design flaw with this watch. Everything else about it is just kind of odd, but all right. But there are some impressive things about this watch, mainly the dimensions. So it comes in both 36 and 40 millimeter diameters, and this one is under 10 millimeters in case height, which is super impressive. It still comes with 100 meters of water resistance. So this is your sort of go anywhere, do anything type of watch, the land dweller. And supposedly this model should sit somewhere between the Datejust and the Day-Date in terms of its pricing and in terms of its position within the Rolex hierarchy. Now, the biggest reason why this watch is so thin is because of the new caliber movement, the caliber 7135. And this movement is seriously impressive. It's the very first time that Rolex is introducing high beat movement, beating at 5 Hertz or 36,000 vibrations per hour. They didn't really sacrifice any of the power reserve. This one still comes with 66 hours of power reserve, and it is also the superlative chronometer certified, plus or minus 2 seconds per day. Still super accurate, and this movement alone has something like 16 different patterns going on, especially about the way the escapement works, and it has this fancy hairspring. There's a lot of technology packed into this movement. It is also finished to a pretty high standard. Usually Rolex finishes their movements to a high standard. They're very good looking movements, but Rolex hides them with a solid caseback. Not in this one. So this one actually comes with a display caseback, which again is pretty impressive for a watch that's so thin. And this new model, it's not just a new model, it's a whole collection. So we have the stainless steel version, there is the Ever Rose Gold version, and there's also the white gold version, and each one costs differently, of course. The stainless steel version, that's probably the one that majority of people would be most interested in, and that one costs around 16,100 USD, which is quite expensive, right? I mean, it comes with this new fancy movement, but it's only like what, 400, 300 bucks less than the Sky Dweller, and the Sky Dweller comes with the annual calendar, is the most complicated watch that Rolex makes. So this tells me that we're gonna start seeing this movement make its way into other Rolex models, probably over the next few years, and we're gonna start seeing some pretty hefty price increases. Mark my words. And lastly, there is the new Rolex Daytona with the turquoise blue dial and an Oyster Flex bracelet. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this release because it is essentially a slightly different version of already existing model. So this is another version of the Daytona, now in yellow gold with this turquoise blue dial, which looks pretty good. I must admit, I think this watch really stands out. If you would see one on the wrist, you would probably recognize it from across the room. Although these Tiffany blue, turquoise blue dials are not as popular anymore, I think Rolex is just slightly too late to the party with this release. Now, in terms of the dimensions, it's exactly the same as the standard Daytona, 40 millimeter diameter by about 11.9 millimeters in case height. This one is still powered by the same Daytona movement, the caliber 4131, that beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour, and it comes with 72 hours of power reserve. And in terms of the pricing, this is a pretty expensive watch, as you would imagine. It costs 37,400 euro. And that's it for the Rolex releases 2025. We did get a brand new model, which is kind of exciting, although I wish the model was a bit more exciting in itself, other than the fact that it has this new movement. What did you think about the releases? Leave your comments below. I always enjoy reading them. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the YouTube channel for more videos like this in the future. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.